Hey, hello everyone, welcome back to the F1 2019 career mode here around the Circuit Paul Ricard, which is the French Grand Prix. Yeah, should be interesting. So we got 3 messages here what we can preview, which is and well, that's really annoying. The major engine upgrade that I bought to this Grand Prix has failed, so I'm gonna have to bring that to next week instead. And weather is, thank goodness, clear. I'm sick of wet races at the moment. It's annoying that failed, because I reckon we could have made some good progress really, but it's going to cost 530 to redo, but luckily it will only take a week, so it will definitely be done after that, and that should bump us up a little bit more as well, because this car definitely needs bumping up. But other than that, I think that everything needs to be said here, so let's see you in qualifying. Alright, so here we go, and this is actually our second lap in Q1. We've already set one lap, it was absolutely awful, so we're not going to show that, it was very slow. So I need to improve by about 5-6 tenths as we go all over the track through turn 1, but probably actually track extended a little bit too much through there, but it's okay, I guess. Need to improve by about 4 or 5 tenths, we might have to whip out the Benjamin Daly tactics as coming down the Mistral Straight, I think it's called, something like that. Here, our car should be fairly strong through the corners around here, but down the straights, especially because the upgrade failed, we're going to be a lot slower. It's coming through. Here it's just maximum push through the chicane. Try and use as much of the curb as you possibly can.
30 seconds left in the session.
But there's probably a few different lines you can take through there. I prefer to get up on the curbs. Going through the long right-hander. It's not really a long right-hander, it's just a right-hander. This is more of a long right-hander, it's a double right-hander. Just got to maintain a decent minimum speed, keep the minimum speed up I guess, and then through here, make sure you avoid the so-called Mount Everest curb on the left-hand side there, which is what it is referred to as on this game anyway. Now coming through the final corner now. This is a decent lap time. Or should I say a decent lap more than anything, we're just over a few tenths up, and now crossing the line. It was only good enough for 14th, we got through into Q2, but we barely got through. And that didn't actually feel like a bad lap, so we could have our work cut out trying to get into Q3, as my teammate Carlos Sainz only in 12th as well, even though I was very close and my lap time's very close. Here we go then. Because we actually used 2 pairs of fresh tyres in Q1, this here is probably going to be our only lap time, as we lose the back end coming out of turn 2, which is never going to help. And to turn 3, went a little bit wide. This hasn't been a very good lap at all so far. We've gone wide again. Now we've got a really tight angle through there. I haven't made too much of a mess of it really. Now, solid through there, but we're going to have one hell of a final 2 sectors through here, because this has not been the best first sector for sure. And I don't know, I don't see us getting into Q2 with the lap that started like this. As now going through here, we've absolutely obliterated the bollard, and there we go, just skids across the track. And now flying down there, another straight, and now into the right-hander. Always going to be flat out unless it's in the wet. This is never going to be flat out, this corner. Be pretty funny if it was, but it's not. Now going heavy braking, avoid Mount Everest. And the braking here, try and stick a little bit tighter to the curb than I have been recently. I've decided might give me a bit of time. It's actually quite a decent final section really to the lap. As we're going to cross the line now, and we'll see where that puts us. So the last part of the qualifying session didn't save. I did set another lap but couldn't improve. I didn't get out of Q2. I finished 14th in the session, which wasn't ideal but wasn't terrible. But other than that, that's all I have to say, so let's go into the race.
Welcome to Le Castellet as we return from across the Atlantic for the 2019 French Grand Prix. Reintroduced to the Formula One calendar just last year after an absence of almost 3 decades. The circuit, Paul Ricard, where racing legends such as Alain Prost gave us some Turn 1 excitement before Valtteri Bottas and Sebastian Vettel and a commanding victory from Lewis Hamilton gave us a brilliant race last year. What, I wonder, will it have in store for us this season? Mastering a lap of Paul Ricard means getting to know 15 corners, 6 left and 9 right, for an overall lap distance of 3.6 miles. The two halves of the long Mistral Straight are separated by a heavy braking zone into a potential overtaking hotspot at the Chicane Nord. And watch out for the drivers running onto the distinctive coloured stripes, which are low in grip and highly abrasive. With the Grand Prix nearly upon us, Anthony Davidson is by my side once again to offer his perspective. Let's talk about the Iceman. As with all the drivers at this level, they have a lot of ambition, but Formula One's a daunting step up from any other series, so expectations are high right from the start.
And this is something that has ended the career of many a young driver, as that leap up to Formula One proves to be too much. But luckily in this case, I'd say they're doing a good solid job, and the risk the team took in signing them is definitely starting to pay off.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Vettel, Max Verstappen and Perez, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Sainz and Lance Stroll, Magnussen, Raikkonen, Iceman and Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Albon. They've taken a grid penalty. Daniel Kvyat and Pierre Gasly, Kubica and George Russell ends our grid lineup. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
This is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix. Let's give them a race worth watching.
Alright then, so starting P13 because of grid penalties. I think it's going to have to be a one-stop. Mediums to hards for sure. We're just going to have to change it a little bit. I think lap 10 seems good. Going to see about the softs, see sort of how they are, but I think the softs are just way too much. We're going to stick with lap 10 on the mediums. I think we're ready to jump right into the race. So, let's go. Here we go, 5 red lights here in France, and we are underway here, starting P13. Well, Kimi Räikkönen just in front of us here. We had a decent start, actually had a very nice start, but Grosjean's absolutely flown off the line in front. We're going to be 3 abreast into turn 1 as we're right in the sandwich of them. Somehow we don't hit into anyone if we maintain our position in P12, and somehow everyone's got through turn 1 absolutely clean and fine as we come through turn 3. Gone up 1 position through turn 1, which I kind of expected really, because it is the Alfa Romeo in front of us and our car has got a much better chassis, which should give us slightly better starts. So yeah, it's just going to hold our positions for a little bit longer here in P12. Now moving on to the start of lap 2 through turn 1, where nothing's really changed yet. Here I think Hülkenberg's been struggling a little bit in that Renault because he's on the soft compounder tyres, and they'll be used softs as well because obviously he made it into Q3, and then because of that hopefully we can all close in on him and overtake him, but we'll have to see, because for now I'm still P12 and a long way back. Now coming on to the end of lap 2, start of lap 3.
Race officials have enabled.
Of course DRS is now enabled,
DRS is now available.
so that should help us out. We should probably try and catch up to Magnussen a bit more. He's still a little bit far back, and we will come under pressure from behind more than in front. And now you can see Hülkenberg really is struggling, as you can see Lance Stroll getting very close to passing him here, as we are going to just sit in behind Magnussen for the time being, see what we can do down the straight. But of course this engine is not going to be as quick as that Haas engine, and certainly not that Racing Point engine, which I'm pretty sure, because it is a Mercedes, is the quickest on the grid. So as you can see, Magnussen on Hülkenberg, Stroll has got past, and Magnussen now probably going to get past Hülkenberg, and that would mean Hülkenberg losing 2 places in 2 corners, which is never what you want, and make it 3 3 places, 3 corners. We're going to fly up his inside through here. He really was struggling with speed. We might even get Magnussen. We're going to pack out of that. Round the outside through there is just stupid. That's literally all it is. I mean, it might work, but it probably won't. It'll probably end up with you going all over the road and off the track. Now on to lap 4. We have had a great run through there, and now down the straight we should be able to cruise past Magnussen here. We're starting to really overtake people quickly here. As soon as we start to get more used to the track and the tyres start to feel a bit better, and we're now up into the points. And now on to lap 5. See, Ricciardo's dived into the pits as Sainz is also struggling on his tyres, as Ricciardo was, but he came in. We've actually had a very good run because they were getting held up. We've caught right up to Stroll, and we've had a very nice final sector here. I don't think we're going to get anything. You see, we just don't gain on him because of our engine. We just don't gain, but that's, well, that's easy enough for us to get past. Stroll with his typical lock-up. He had a massive one in Canada last time out. If you haven't checked it out, check it out now. And you could also see had a massive lock-up here. So we're up into P7. And we've just taken out another bollard, but you know, they'll eventually will be gone by the end of this, as we've got our teammate in front of us. And well, I reckon obviously equal engines, thank goodness. I reckon we should be able to catch him here. Engine's a little bit overheated, but we're still going to gain on him. We're still going to gain on him. Go over to the right hand side, late enough on the brakes to go clean round his outside, and then there we go, up at a 6. So far so good, I think, in this Grand Prix. Now 4 laps later, we are diving into the pits and now fitting the hard tyres, which should see us to the end of the race, just as long as nothing happens. As we're going to be coming out just behind our teammate, I think, and maybe just behind the Renault of probably Hulkenberg. I think that probably is. Yeah, it's Hulkenberg on the soft, so he should be a lot quicker than us. We're just going to slide in behind him for now. P15. We've run very wide through turn 1, but of course 15th is not our actual spot. As moving on to lap 13 then, we are going to be pretty much exactly where we were. We're just behind Stroll and just ahead of Magnussen. But Stroll, well, Hulkenberg gained a lot of time in the pits, but obviously he's on softs, he's going to have to pit again. Whereas me, Stroll, Magnussen, Raikkonen, all the cars behind me really are all on a one-stop strategy, which is probably the quicker strategy, to be honest. But obviously they probably couldn't one-stop because they would have to, well, it'd be very hard to save the tyres because you have to start on used tyres if you make it into the top 10, which is what my teammate and other cars did. So here we go then. Down the straight, didn't gain at all on them there. We see the Williams of George Russell is causing absolute pandemonium in front. Everyone's getting past him. We've gone for an absolute worldie of a switchback move here. But look at the engine, he's just gone straight past us and we just can't make the overtake yet anyway. And a lap later, can we get the overtake done this time? As we get just as good a run really as last time, because it wasn't a brilliant run, but it wasn't a bad run. And this time we might hopefully be able to make a clean move down the straight. We've actually gained them a little bit, but it's just not enough, and we might have to go for another switchback really. Nice little cutback. Go from the outside, trying to cut back to the inside, but it hasn't really worked this time for us because Stroll had a little bit and a much better traction, but we are gaining down on the straight here. And Stroll is actually maybe going to think about it on Hulkenberg here, but he doesn't think about it, neither do we.
Be aware, there's an incident in the next part of the track. No overtaking through the yellow flags.
Hulkenberg's in the pits, and there's yellow flags, and that's Hamilton. Hamilton is out of the race. Oh no, no. It's probably his radio message right there. So its engine has absolutely blown. And that's the championship leader Lewis Hamilton out of the race. That could really make a difference in this Grand Prix, to be honest. Because, I mean, this could make the gap at the top of the championship a little bit closer, which could make it a little bit more interesting, because at the moment he's got a massive lead, I think. But we're now up at a P8, that does promote us, also people have pitted. So far this race has gone very well, to be fair. 13th to 8th, and we're just over halfway in this race, so hopefully we can keep it up. Now look how close we are to Stroll. As I said, Bottas is in the lead, no surprise there. You can see on the minimap he's miles ahead, but finally we're gaining on Stroll. We can finally wave to him as we go past him. And that is Leclerc also behind. He must have come into the pits for his second stop, and he should be able to comfortably come up and pass everyone. As here we go then. That's what I was saying. Here comes Leclerc. Probably a simple pass on us. And it is. You're not going to fight that position. It's not ours to fight. And we're down into third, which is still a podium spot. And now, just to update you on the situation more, so we've got Leclerc in front of us in P2. We're in P3. We've got the Red Bull and Ferrari behind us somewhere, and they'll probably come and overtake us at the end, but we'll see. And here we go then. Vettel has started to close into us, and I don't think we're going to be in this final podium spot for long, because I don't think we're going to hold it for one lap, let alone 6, which we have to hold it for. It's a lie, it's 5, but as now we're going to have, well, Verstappen's right behind him as well, so if I get overtaken by Vettel, I'm going to get overtaken by Verstappen, and Vettel's practically pushing me along here at the end, and we're going to see him probably just cruise past in the straight. We're not even going to bother wasting fuel or ERS or anything. We're just going to watch him. Look at that. He has a good extra 15 mile an hour on us there. Now we just need to focus on keeping Red Bull behind us, which probably isn't going to happen. We've had a horrible run through there. Didn't get any of the inside curve. No apex at all. I think we completely forgot there was an apex through turn 2. Verstappen's absolutely sent it on us. That was a bit rude. But again, we're not really focused on fighting it, because our main fight is just staying in front of Stroll really at the moment. I don't think we're going to be able to get him down the straight, but we'll have a look, because there is a possibility his engine's not absolutely rapid, but we didn't have a good run, and yeah, he's too far in front of us. For now, hopefully we can hold out P5. We've got a big gap to Stroll behind because he was held up in the train, so that should see us P5 at the end of the race. Yeah, manage the tyres, keep the car on the road, and there shouldn't be any issue with finishing P5 in this race. And now onto the final lap of the race. We've kept it on the road, everything's been nice and clean. Come for the right hander, and now through the double right hander. Valtteri Bottas, no surprise there, has won the French Grand Prix. So Mercedes, 1 retirement, 1 race win, as we run very, very wide, but make sure we definitely didn't hit Mount Everest. And now it's going to be P5 for us here, P13 to P5. That is probably one of the best drives that we've had in this series, but Canada was a pretty good one because some tyres were absolutely ruined. And there we go, stick to the pit wall, wave to the pit wall guys, and there we go, P5, great result.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
So, another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. It wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
I have to give it to Iceman. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. It was a tough race for our championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
It's that time again then, contract negotiation. Hopefully we can get a really, really good term now, because, well, that's the original one. So they already want me first driver. And then I reckon Well, we'll definitely get that to level 3. I have quite a lot of there as well. I reckon I can get everything to level 3, but the team goal is hard, and that should be good. Oh wow, look at that. That's harsh. I reckon that the only thing we have to do here is just put the expected race or qualifying position down by 1. If we do that, then we should. There we go. So I've got everything as level 3 and with first driver. And we get a harder team goal, which is good because we get more resource points from it, I think. So I think we do anyway. Anyway, we have a lot of resource points. We're gonna obviously do that. He wants us to do that, but I really don't think we need to. We just need we're gonna do the MGUK because this thing does work quite badly, and you only get 2 MGUKs, whereas you get sort of 3 of the other things like MGUHs or whatever. So grid penalties could be an issue for that. And we're just going to quickly check this stuff here. We're not going to bother getting it because I don't really think we need it yet. But anyway, that'll be all for this video. If you guys have enjoyed, please remember to smash the hell out of the like button, subscribe if you haven't, just because some people who watch this are not subscribed. And thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time out in Austria.